to do some fixing, like you said, the box is right there, there's wires going down there. He pulled it out, there's a little hatchway in there. He said, yeah, and so we screwed it up. I'll show you the screws and everything. The picture of the woman down the steps, that is not Essie. But we'll look at that, and when we get to the bottom of the steps, I'm going to tell a couple of stories too. When you get down there, as long as no one's in there, the first bathroom on the right, peek in there, you'll see a nice picture. It's a little freaky. I've used that restroom too. It looks like the eyes could follow you. It is oval. Check that out because, and while you're up here, actually, I can show you. So you see how this looks right here, right? So this could happen, yes, and drop just down here. Well, when they moved that picture, evacuator, was like, hey, I don't want this picture looking at me when I go to the room. Can we move it? Chef Eric goes, all right, where do you want to move? He goes, to the hallway. So he took the picture down, he brings it in the hallway, he put it up, and you hear, smash! They both looked at each other, they run upstairs, the glass is shattered all over, like it was flown like 12 feet. Not like it just dropped, like, yeah, it could vibrate, and it was thrown.
Very cool.
They looked at each other back when it said, yep, ran back downstairs, took the picture, and put it right back where you see it today. So you'll see it in that, yes, you'll see it in the bathroom. It is eerie, no, that is not Clarence and Essie. But it is definitely an eerie picture to look at, so when we go downstairs, I'll show you that. When you lead the way down the steps, and folks, thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
I told most of the stories in there, just got a couple out here.
Just curious, never had this opportunity. Could you put that against that piece of wood right there?
Oh, you're getting some readings.
Oh, yeah, you are.
No
Where'd
way.
you find that, Micah? So Micah finds these,
See if,
Ooh. Ooh.
this is a Native American.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at
I found this in Johanna Swamp along with some other items. Now, most likely you say war club because of the fashion, but in most cases it was more than likely an agricultural tool out of loblolly pine bone, ancient heart pine. But I was always curious if it would have any type of reading.
It's definitely got some energy.
Wow.
That is so cool.
And those are volts running through it.
Wow.
Yay! You're like,
And
I'm
you
so
can
proud
actually.
of
Oh,
this.
yes,
I
yes,
know,
yes,
I would be
yes.
too.
When I found this, it was after the 1,000-year storm,
Oh.
and it had pulled up a strata layer. And I also found
so you have a picture
this.
over there on the other side.
That is so
She's
cool.
very proud of this wood, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yes, yes,
Well,
yes,
you gotta be, man.
Because this is what the
It's
Native
10,000
Americans used to
years old,
skin
man.
fish.
Jeez.
You can actually see the old markings. Wow.
Yeah, it's got some readings too.
That one had more. That one had
I think this one's got a little more activity.
I gotta get this back.
Yeah, and I mean just
Oh, yeah, there it goes.
wow. So how abnormal would that be?
Well, I mean, there is electricity in this
Right, right,
place,
right.
so.
He's got the actual device.
But for it to continually do it, that's a little more consistent.
Interesting.
Especially, I
Maybe it's
mean,
that
we're
fire, man. It's
up
probably the wood, but this is also where we saw
We're
the
getting
shop
up to
here walk
28
through
volts.
here, and the face was seen in that corner mirror.
Just curious, could you try it up on the mantle without it there? Nice. Oh,
well, there it goes.
yeah.
The right side is where the face was seen.
There's
That's
some
spiked.
voltage there.
Ooh, that's
31,
spiked, yeah.
36. Definitely. Now we've had this go as high as 400 volts in a house with zero electricity. Wow. Y'all have done court in the whole entire place.
In that bathroom took pictures. She's like, "Did you work here?" I was like, "I've already worked waiting tables with ghosts. I would totally work here. I mean, I would be scared at times, but I'd do it." Oh, you're no worries.
Well, I keep telling myself everything.
You made
Dead,
it
what my mama told me. It's not the dead that can urge you, it's the living.
It's exactly right.
That's exactly
Does that mean
right.
they can't skip food?
That is right.
psychics, mediums, and madams. This woman, her face strongly resembled. I forgot the woman's name.
Do we know her?
No, this came from Hebrew memory.
Over years.
This one actually came from. They gave her a name local to the town that it was from. But it looks very similar to this spiritualist woman that was a madam that I actually saw a TV special on, but kind of, but you know, and it just made me think of that face. But it's those eyes.
It's those eyes. They look like they're looking at you.
It's just amazing.
I'm gonna have this up frame. Like, you see, you're not getting a read. Well, you're getting a little bit of a reading.
Oh, look at
But
that.
not like his would.
No, I'm getting it. Look at that, 23.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. There's something attached to that one.
You like that? Just go around the staircase here and look at that.
They are unsure if that is Miss S.E.
There he was unsure.
Let me get over here and I'll let you one of these. Ooh, this one's fun.
Didn't want to see, or have people selling them that the women were looking at, or the woman was looking at.
Also, you probably can't see them, but there is a small strip of LEDs actually in the window pane to anti-glare it, because under the famous premise, Chef Eric, he's the last person leaving here. He's like, I do not want to look up there, see a face in the window, because I will have to go all the way back in. I'll have to secure everything again. And he said he'd just rather not see it. But also, there was a lot of people from the public. I'm sure you're going to touch on to that.
Well, one of them used to work here, Corbin, and Dave usually tells this story, but Dave was a little busy right now. Corbin's mom came in and picked him up, and he was doing a ghost tour himself. Corbin's mom parked right over there on the outside and was basically looking up and said, wow, that woman looks like she's got a really beautiful gown. Corbin came out and he's like, Corbin, he's like, I didn't know you had to dress up for the ghost tour. Because he's like, Mom, the ghost tour ended like almost an hour ago. He's like, there's no one upstairs. He's like, no, I saw a woman with a beautiful gown looking out the window at us. And he's like, really? Came back, told Dave. Dave's like, nobody's been in here for over an hour. Maybe Mom's been drinking too much waiting for Corbin. But Corbin says his mom saw somebody staring out the window when there was nobody up there. Same thing happened with Kim. Kim, after the whole incident where she was, getting scared in the bathroom with the sighing and everything, didn't want to be in this place by herself alone anymore. She, came in one last time and she heard rustling upstairs. She went upstairs. She hears rustling all the time. People moving chairs. She calls Eric. Eric says he's not there. She goes upstairs. Nothing's been moved. She calls the guy she had an appointment with at 9:30, cancels the appointment, leaves the house, and says she will never come here early again by herself. That brings me to the next woman. Woman says, comes by here at 7:30 in the morning, drop her kids off. Looks up, sees a woman in the window, thinks it's Kim, starts waving to her. Woman doesn't wave back. The woman doesn't want, it's a ghost. What does she wave back? So a couple days go by and she sees Kim out and she's like, Kim, I waved to you the other morning. You never waved back to me. Kim's like, what time was this? She goes, like 7:30. I wasn't there, not there at that time. She goes, I never go in by myself. And I'm never there that early anymore. And she's like, well, there was somebody, and I waved, and they didn't wave back. And Kim's like, probably glad that they didn't wave back. Yeah. How many people have lost pets? Yes? Everybody's lost a pet before?
Yes.
Well, Kim had lost a cat when she first came down here. Shadow had been her cat for 13, 14 years.
That's my cat's name.
Oh, wow.
Shadow.
Well, the Kim's cat's name was Shadow, and he had passed away, and she was very, like, should I get another cat? I don't know how I feel about it. Well, I'm going to get another cat. And so she did. After several months, she got a new cat. Only had the cat for about 3 weeks, and a woman comes up to her, and she goes, Shadow, or no, she doesn't say Shadow. She goes, your cat wants you to know he's happy you found someone that loves him as much as he did, and loves you as much as he did. And she kind of looks at the woman. She's like, well, I didn't tell anybody besides my husband, Eric. I don't post this on Facebook. So how does this woman, she said, can I ask how you know that I recently lost a cat? And she goes, oh yeah, do you know when you feel him going brushing across your leg, that's him just letting you know he's still here. And so she kind of looks at the woman and she's like, all right, I never told anybody, so like, you could tell this? Now, I don't talk to cats, so, but, this woman supposedly sensed it, and so she asked her, she goes, you must have buried the cat somewhere here, close by? She goes, it's buried right on the lawn. It's buried right here on this lawn.
I just smile.
So this one, when we go back there, I'm going to show you there's a mirror. We got this call on camera at 3:02. Anybody here hear the witching hour?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Between 3 and 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I know I've woke up at 3:15 before. I'm sure a lot of people wake up. Well, maybe your bed got shook. Maybe it's something. That's called the witching hour. Now we have it on tape there. The mirror fell and shattered, and Chef Eric caught it at 3:02 a.m. A figure went through. We don't know if it was going through it or coming out of it, because mirrors, kind of like a vortex, could be into a different dimension, like a wormhole into a different dimension. So again, why we could have multiple ghosts here, or one was leaving us. But you see in the video, it goes right through, and then all of a sudden the mirror drops and smashes. Now, new mirror, but he took the same frame and he put it up where you'll see it, where I'll show you. And he caught that, like I said, at 3:02 in the morning. So we don't know if the ghost was leaving us or coming back. But again, it was a different gateway that kind of opened up a dimension or a wormhole. And he's checking on that back room because that's got the floor back there. We want to show you that before we leave. And usually I save this to the end, but I'll say it right now. Another thing, a medium came in here, and she's like how's it looking back there?
They would like to hear what you have to say. It's just too.
Okay, well then we'll
So
go like this.
I'll let them know.
I'll let you tell the story of the gentleman who goes back and forth, and then I'll go over a couple stories myself. Come on, guys.
Back to the break.
Back to the party. I love these lights. They're great.
This is the room that Dave was seen in with the orb flashing on his chest.
Oh, that's right. There was a gentleman. Every time they would take a photo of him, and literally.
No, that was the guy in the back. Dave had it when it was like a strobe light. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll let you, one of you guys. Here's Dave. Actually, Dave,
Hey,
the
Dave.
strobe light one. I've seen this on video.
Oh,
Do y'all have videos where y'all caught this stuff and like you got it on YouTube?
on our website.
Yeah.
You can go on and some of the videos are on there of like.
Oh.
Either our
this is
Brentwood
awesome.
website,
But
or like I
this
said
room-
on YouTube, the Phantom A at the Brentwood.
I was waiting on a table in this room. There was a couple sitting here. And I was standing there talking to them. See, we have the camera up there? So I was talking to them, they were just finishing up dinner, so when I left the room, Eric, the owner, told me, come upstairs, I want to show you something. So he rewound the tape. While I was standing there talking to the customers, there was a strobe light flashing on my chest. And it was like, I didn't see it with my naked eye. You can see it on the camera.
You're like, oh, okay.
Tell me about it. I'm like, right now my head's gonna spin around. So I have no idea where that light came from. And I told the customers, like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no.
Oh, you
I
told
wish I
me?
could have took them up there and showed them. Because they're like,
Right.
we didn't see no, because we thought maybe someone was shining something in the window. But it was wild.
And I've seen the video. They're talking to you like nothing's happening. It's just
Right.
you didn't even know what was happening. It's like
Did he tell you the story about
Corbin's mom drinking a little too much, saw the chef. Yeah.
Oh, you told me. Yeah, that was weird too. She said, telling Corbin, you guys dress up for the ghost tour? He's like, no, what are you talking about? I guess she's seen a lady and a little girl in the window
Look pretty
with a
dress.
long dress on. So there's definitely something going on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Too many stories.
And then
Not true.
the room next to it here, we have a fireplace like this, and there's a mirror in front of it. We're closed on Sundays, but we came in on a Monday, and the mirror was smashed on the floor. So we looked at that, we were around the cameras and watched it, and you see the room's all dark, and you see the mirror fall, shatters, and you see about 40 orbs shoot out. And they're like, they go around the room, and about like 10 minutes, and then they go,
Right back
they all
in
go
the
back in
room.
there.
That is cool.
So we don't know. And the mirrors in there is bolted down with screws.
That's a lot of force. Something's forcing
Hold
it.
it down now.
You know, with the mirror being on the ground, but when you see them orbs, it was weird. That was my first video I seen, that the orbs, and I was like, are you kidding me? There was like 30 or 40 of them, they just shoot out.
Like a movie, you know?
Yeah.
Convinced.
Oh my gosh.
All of us right this way.
And then that story about the two girls that had the flower dresses on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How long have you worked here? How long have you worked here?
This, as you can tell, is where the original mirror was that they found destroyed. And of course, more of my wood.
I'm gonna shut the light off, you can catch more orbs with no light on.
As long as everyone's cool with that, yes. All right. Good, Lord. Good. I'm getting ready for it.
This was the mirror that Dave was just talking about. And the mirror I was talking about, I'll show you. So this happened to a couple mirrors. Knew she was about ready to leave. Kim was busy and, wanted to say goodbye to this woman. Kim's got a lot of positive energy. Now the ghosts want to stay near that, but they also know that Kim got frightened before, so they try to stay about 5 to 10 feet away. Kim comes running into the room, stops next to the woman, say goodbye, and this woman starts sneezing and sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. So much so her husband started to pull on her arm like, honey, are you okay? And even Kim was like, should I call the paramedics? Do I need to call 911? What's that? Is the woman hyperventilating? She sneezed, they said, for over 5 minutes, nearly almost 10 minutes. Then she stopped. She put up her hand and she's like, I want to figure this out. So like she said, she was a medium, she had that spiritual guest, she could feel energies and stuff. What she believes happened is when Kim came running up to say goodbye to her so quick, when Kim stopped, those ghosts went right past her and right into this woman, gave her that surge of energy. So she started basically hyperventilating and sneezing, so much so that even her husband was like, oh, maybe do we have to call the hospital right now? But everything was okay. They figured it out. And I said that was a good story here. Now he's going to tell you about the flooring in here.
Now, as you can tell, this flooring is actually older than this one. This flooring was reclaimed from a cotton gin that was allegedly, I only say that because I have not seen the written of it, but it was alleged that when Jeff purchased it, it came from a cotton gin that was burned by Sherman on his march to the ocean.
Oh, I hate Sherman.
2 Confederate soldiers, it is alleged. But it is alleged there has been a sighting of what looks like a figure of a soldier, not your stereotypical, Confederate soldier, cap, bit, brow, but it will be seen walking back and forth in front of that silhouette. And what I have heard is that just basically when people come in, you know how you see that thing in the corner of your eye, that's the corner of the eye catcher with that window. During the daytime, we'll have the shade down. You'll get kind of a bright light to it, so if there is anything that would pass in front of it, ethereal or any type of mass that you could get a visual from, that would definitely, stick out as soon as you come in. Now, these floorboards, you can actually look down into it, and in some areas, see the metal shank rivets that used to be a byproduct of the cotton gin. These floors are very sturdy, and this is something that I was just amazed, after working here so long, finding out these little things, just the little stuff like the Oregon chef went to go get to decorate the place that you saw upstairs. He went and got this to make this room right here to try and add to the ambiance of it and keep along with the historical nature of not just the history of this home, history in itself. And plus, that's some beautiful floor.
It is gorgeous.
So a couple more ghosts that came, so we have at least 8 now. 2 last stories I want to tell you. Back in this room here, it was a gentleman's birthday party. He used to come here a lot, and it was his birthday. Ghosts like it when it's your birthday or anniversary. They like, to have fun with you. Now, he didn't know this at the time, much like Dave, when he was bright as can be in the middle of his chest. Basically almost ruined every picture, he said, but he goes, it was amazing that it was in every picture. His golden orb was following him around. And it was his birthday, we figured the ghost wanted to make sure that they knew it was his birthday too. And one of the last stories I'll tell you, another spiritual guy that came here, a medium that could sense things. She basically was talking with Kim one night, and be careful what you wish for, because she must have invited one of the ghosts with her, because she got in her car and started to drive away. And she looked at her rearview mirror and saw a shadow figure in the back of her car. She pulled over hysterically and called Kim and said, Kim, one of your ghosts had followed me, and it's in the back of my car right now. Kim said, bring it back to the Brentwood. So she did. She drove back to the Brentwood, parked out front, closed her eyes, and said, please go back inside. When she opened her eyes, she said it was gone. We told Kim that's what she said, and Kim said, well, thank you for bringing the ghost back. We believe because she was a spiritual guide, maybe she was joking around and said, oh, yes, man, hello, hi, ghost. It decided to follow her. Ghost said, hey, you know what? I want to follow this woman home tonight. Maybe she's got something fascinating going on. So be careful what you wish for, and be careful when you look in your rearview mirror this evening, folks. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you had a pleasurable time. Hope you guys had a great time, a great meal, ghost story, and everything. We'll see you guys back here again at the Brentwood. Thank you.
Thank you.
And like I said, Phantom at the Brentwood, and you can go on our Facebook website or one of the websites, and they show little clips on there too. I know I saw the Dave one I've seen on television. Like you said, it's just strobing, and the customers aren't even acting like anything's going on. He's not acting because they don't know what's going on until he got called upstairs. Same thing with me when I saw something moving behind me. Did you see that moving behind you? How could I see something behind me? I had to go upstairs and see it on camera.
Oh, and shameless self-plug. For those that I mentioned about Alice of the Hermitage, look up the Facebook page, Alice Flag, the final chapter.
Is that your page?
That is your. Oh, we will do
I
that.
was going to write a book about all of the information that I found because there's a deeper story.
Totally do it.
I decided to influence the next generation of researchers by foregoing any finances and basically showing everyone how
That's awesome.
that library that saved my butt from all the bullies when I was a kid. You had to be in there reading a book for the librarian to look out for you.
Right.
Yeah.
That microfilm department, just I gave little games for people to do, like put in your oldest family member's name on an old newspaper archive search at your local library. See what happens. Little things like that. Or put in strange lights in parentheses. You get some strange reports, including the 1818 North Island in Georgetown. All of this upper class resort was held at bay by a 60-foot sea serpent that would not leave North Island. And in their own words, had the islanders in such a trepidation. Gotta love that old vernacular.
I know, right? It's so proper.
So Alice,
Alice
that is
Flag.
her grave at All Saints.
Actually, I'll go ahead and shoot to the chase. Most likely, that is either a memorial or that is Alice Rutledge Flag.
Okay.
Born 1889, died sadly in the great storm I referred to of 1893. October 13th. Her and her entire family were washed away.
Really? Well, that's good.
Now, according to October 16th's newspaper report, hers was one of the first bodies recovered in the marsh. And, she was only 3 years old. The first Alice was Alice Boleyn Flagg, who was born in 1849 when she passed away. She was 16 years old, the greatest candidate for the young Alice of the story. And in 1850, her name was recycled again with another family member, Alice Boleyn Flagg, that lived to be 85 years old.
Oh, really?
Who was actually buried at another local paranormal icon in Plantersville, a place called Old Gun Church.
I've heard of this.
Oh,
Heard of
yes. Oh, yes. It's actually, it's referred to locally as Old Gun Church because Elijah Gunn was one of the caretakers and the builders of it, and he's also the gentleman that died falling from the bell tower, cursing God to his death.
Ooh.
So that's why that church more than likely burned down 3 times in its history, and to this day is just an excellent theme of Gothic architecture local to this area. But also, that is where Alice Boleyn Flagg is buried, and a lot of the Flagg members. The Boleyn Methodist Memorial Garden in Merle's Inlet is where the young Alice from Charleston was buried. That's according to family Bibles. Most likely, that marker was for Alice Rutledge Flagg. If you look directly behind the grave, you will see a memorial to Dr. Albert Flagg and his wife Virginia Flagg, who were swept away in the Great Tidal Wave of 1893. Back then, they didn't have the terminology of storm surge or even named storms as we do today. That storm was referred to as the flag storm because it took all but 2 members of the entire family out, and several other families as well. And it was also, to end it, it was later in the 30s, it was referred to as the Black Storm. Now, mind you, this is still 10, 20 years before we started giving names to storms, but that was just the local vernacular of it. And again, Huntington Beach State Park. It took me looking up on an old Long Bay map to be like, wait a second. I don't see Huntington, but I see Magnolia Beach. Or as it was known then, Magnolia Beach Colony.
And I got one more too for you. Probably gonna hear about the dishwasher one maybe, but I'm gonna save that one because we were running out of time. But the Christmas Day one, I'll tell you, I was hoping to run into Jolie because she likes to tell us what. Jolie
yes.
Jolie is Chef Eric's daughter. Jolie and Remy were upstairs on Christmas Day waiting to go to the movies for this boy James. Well, they thought they...
Pardon the interruption. Folks, it's been great. I got a couple of duties I got to close out with. It was really great to meet you all. And again, my name's Micah, and I hope to see you again.
You will, for sure.
Take care,
Oh, well, I said it was over, but I'm giving him one little extra one.
One extra tidbit.
Because I usually look for Jolie.
We had the back room full one night. I was waiting tables and I was waiting on this lady and her son, and she kept walking around out here, and you could tell she was kind of off a little bit. But you know how those people are that see the spirits, and they're kind of a little quirky. We get those sometimes at the ghost tours. We get the 1 or 2 that come in and they're you know, they're like, I can feel everything. So she was walking around in here and she kept staring, looking around. And I said, can I help you? I said, do you need it? She's like, no, but there's a lady standing in that corner with a bonnet watching everyone eat. I'm like, there we go.
Here we go, yeah.
Apparently she said there was a lady standing in that corner watching everyone eat. And then Kim took her upstairs, and we had those pictures on the wall up there, and she said she looks just like this lady right here.
Oh, and she'd never seen her. She saw her like
And she had a
that.
bonnet too.
Oh, in the
Those
picture.
pictures up there, there's pictures like
That's-
5 girls that.
That's just confirmation right there. Confirmation.
Even though she's being weird, she's
Right, so
Or
she seen something.
Oh man, that's wild.
Yeah, mine was the Christmas Day one. Like I said, I was hoping we'd find Jolie on the way. Jolie is Chef Eric's daughter. He said Remy is the son. They were upstairs waiting. We were getting places ready. You know, it was a busy day because it was gonna be Christmas. Some adults started showing up. Jolie? So she saw on the camera this little boy, and she's like, "Oh, James is here." She runs downstairs to tell her mother, and her mom's like, "James is not here yet." And she's like, "Mom, Remy and I just saw a boy following you around on the camera upstairs." And she's like, "It's only adults here, Jolie." She's like, "There is no boy here yet." And she said, "No, she saw it on the camera. A 5-year-old boy following around Kim and put his hands right on the counter out here on Christmas Day." She saw it on camera.
And it's on camera.
And it's on camera.
Oh my
And that's what I was
gosh.
hoping to catch Jolie. She's in there. She's one of the backwinners here. I said she puts in her job while her chef Eric and everything. I saw her for a brief moment when she was running back there, so I decided I want to tell you that one. Thank you guys again so very
Hey,
much.
thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Something to do with this mirror and this fireplace, because there's been a lot of.
I told them about how it smashed that 302.
Yeah, but there seems like there's a lot of
That's weird.
stuff that goes through this. So we think
That's
it's
through the.
this is like
the
the main
portal.
chamber.
The
portal.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! Check this out. Getting magnetic readings up there.
Ooh.
That's usually you feel those.
Right.
Yeah.
Feel the sensation going
You
through.
feel the electromagnetic. The voltage you usually don't.
Right.
Not normally. I mean, I think the high voltage can cause hallucinations
Okay.
on like high tension.
And you
high
said
tension.
400 on it?
It's gone to 400 in a
Okay.
house that had zero
Yeah,
electricity.
that's
it's
weird.
just-
Scared. When we were doing a house and it was a plantation.
And it's on film. I have that on film.
Never
And that thing was
that thing's-
blowing up, and I'm like, man, can we go now? I'm good.
Now, like I
It's
said, I've
crazy
read
every
the
time.
details, and you know, ghosts need that electrical.
And this one normally does
Make
not
the
go
presence
up on us.
felt.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Now usually when we see that,
heard some stuff,
like
we
I'm
see,
getting
that's how we were like,
goosebumps right
What are you
now.
ghosting? I'm like, yeah, we are.
Yes.
We're ghosting. But that would be cool if they had like 2 bedrooms they opened up. Just,
Right.
I mean, they can make
I
it.
told them she
totally-
do overnights here.
I'm telling you, the money that people are paying for that stuff right now, $500-600 not to do it, but you get to do it. You
Right.
know, can't say it. Are you feeling that? That's crazy. See, look at the top number.
That don't hardly ever go off.
Never. The bottom's our number we usually get. Yeah, that's your main source for sure. Yay! Y'all already knew that.
Yeah, so that was the one I caught too. That's
Ah.
now, like I said, same frame, different mirror, obviously because it's shattered.
Gosh, that looks spooky.
It's just everything
Let's
right
go look at some
here.
ghosts. Let's go find the cemetery.
All right, guys, I gotta go upstairs.
Thank you so
It's
much.
been
Hey, we
a pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Excellent, excellent.
And this was the guy that I said he was doing the ghost tour. He was a server.
Oh, is he
when
the
the
one
two
that had the
ladies
mom?
saw the shadows, so not the mom, that was
Oh.
Corbin. He's
Oh.
not here anymore.
Oh.
But Taylor was doing it, and right, two ladies were like, I saw one in this mirror in the window. And the other one was like, I saw it in that one, and Mike, and you were like, what?
I'm like, I don't know what to
I had
say.
just dropped off entrees and I set them down and everybody was quiet. Like this was a rather rambunctious group too. And I came in and they were quiet. I was like, did I upset anybody? And they're like, no, we just saw the shadow figure. And I was like, oh, casually,
Yeah,
you know, been here for a year and a half, haven't seen anything.
Dang,
so like,
you're here
that's
one
cool.
time. Good for you.
Yeah.
We have another gentleman that does the ghost, I don't know if you tell him about Mike.
Uh-huh.
He knows a lot of the history of the house, and eventually, I guess he's been a little sick right now with a heart attack, but when he comes back, he wants to do, because I guess, is it Essie? Is that the name? They say Essie and her husband, they're buried in that cemetery.
That's where I want to go. That's where I want to go.
So he wants to like do the ghost tour and dinner, and then kind of
Go to the cemetery.
take everyone, walk over and tell some stories.
When they first started doing it, they used to do it.
Nothing? Nobody?
Stop it.